Kia ora, good evening. Figures released by Statistics New Zealand today bring good news for the exporting sector for the September quarter. Exports rose 9.4% once adjusted for seasonable effects, a full percentage point above the level of imports, which rose 8.4% for the quarter. Statistics New Zealand Overseas Trade Manager Stuart Jones says dairy led the rise in exports, with the value of milk powder, butter and cheese exports up 20%. For the month of September, export values increased $543 million compared with September 2012. The value of imports fell by $48 million. The seasonally adjusted trade deficit for the September quarter is $637 million, or 5.3% of exports. A man has been arrested and a dairy closed down following a joint investigation by Invercargill Police, the City Council and Public Health South. Invercargill Area Tactical Manager Inspector Olaf Jensen confirmed a search warrant was executed in relation to legal highs at the Rugby Park Food Centre in Tweed Street yesterday. A male was then arrested on a firearms matter, and the council have closed down the dairy based on building compliance and health reasons. A new law was introduced last year which prohibited the sale of all psychoactive substances unless approved by a regulator. Mr Jensen says there's a focus in the local community on stopping legal highs and warns that if retailers are not abiding by the new rules, then they will get a visit from the police. Southland District Mayor-elect Gary Tong says the first 2 weeks of his term as mayor have been explosive, and he's been left wondering where the time has gone. Mr Tong is happy with the makeup of District Council, especially with the decision to appoint Paul Duffy as his deputy, and expects a harmonious atmosphere around the council table. Hunter Andrews asked the new District Mayor just how well the first days in office had gone.
Explosive. It's been very busy. I honestly have to say that I don't know where the last 2 weeks have gone. It's been awesome. Amazing amount of people I've met and a lot of stuff I've learned. It's been great.
Were you expecting that it would be so busy initially?
To tell you the truth, I wasn't expecting to start on the Monday, straight after the elections. I thought I was coming in to see Dave Adamson just to have a bit of a yarn, and was told that, yeah, that's it, you're on deck. Not officially sworn in until next week, so there are some functions that I can't do, but yeah, it's...
So you're Mayor-elect at this stage?
Mayor-elect, yeah, I have signing authority on a number of matters, but if it came to a big issue like a major emergency, would have to seek clarification on what I can and can't do.
And your choice of Paul Duffy as your deputy?
Paul is a very professional gentleman. He's a great guy. He knows Southland very, very well. He's got some great skills that he can bring, and we had a bit of a chat yesterday afternoon, and I'm sure the two of us will both combine to bring some very good skills to Southland.
We were speaking to Bill English, of course, Minister of Infrastructure. The roading is still a very high priority for you. He said that they're addressing the problem in Auckland, which is first and foremost really, but you would be hoping he'd be getting on to the Southland issue. What's the latest on the roading? I
would hope that it's, although Auckland's first and foremost, that he hasn't forgotten about us. I certainly will be keeping in the face of central government over our roading issues. Like we contribute greatly to the economy of New Zealand, so we've got to have good roads as well, and also with the Alpine Fault and all these other flooding, we need to have good roads for our people to get out if we need to, so I'll be keeping in the face of central government.
You travelled 5,000 kilometres, you were saying, during your campaign. You did see some pretty shambolic roads, both metalled and tar sealed? Yeah,
some of the tar seals certainly starting to fail, and you can see why, and it's quite interesting to note that on which side of the roads it's failing. Obviously with the heavy vehicles going to a port or a site, yeah, it's quite noticeable. And some of the gravel roads in the outer areas of Southland are certainly failing.
And so first council meeting next week, and you'll be hoping to address those issues then? Yeah,
well, we're sworn in on that day. Everyone's sworn in, so then we'll progress from there on, and we're not going to lay down, that's for sure. I've got a great council behind me. We had our orientation day yesterday with our councillors, and yeah, I was very impressed. It was great.
A harmonious council, you think, at this early stage?
I believe so, yeah, and all very happy with the appointment of Paul Duffy as the deputy.
Solid Energy has confirmed it is mothballing the briquette plant at Matilda. A spokesman for the coal mining outfit says the company has considered the feedback to its proposal to temporarily shut down the facility and has decided to go ahead essentially as planned. The decision means 3 of the 4 staff members working at the plant have lost their jobs and will be working out their month's notice as of today. Solid Energy and GTL Energy have been jointly running the briquette plant. A decision is yet to be made about the facility's long-term future. After the break, time for a check-up at the annual Southern Institute of Technology's Health Expo. Welcome back. The government has confirmed that the price of shares in Meridian Energy will be set at $1.50 per share. 62,000 have committed to purchasing shares in the soon-to-be floated energy generator, around half the number that took up the option to purchase Mighty River shares. Finance Minister Bill English indicated any hesitancy to take up the Meridian offer can be blamed on the Labour Green initiative to introduce New Zealand Power. If elected, New Zealand Power will act as a single buyer of power for Kiwi households. Successful applicants for shares in Meridian are required to pay a first instalment of $1, followed by a final payment of 50 cents per share in May 2015. Meridian Energy shares are expected to begin trading on the New Zealand Stock Exchange at 1 p.m. on Tuesday the 29th of October. Rural Post is the winner of the day as the government promises a 5-day per week service. Whilst this is a reduction on the current 6-day system, urban areas will have to swallow a much bigger cutback as they face a possible 3-day delivery service. Communications and Information Technology Minister Amy Adams has announced the changes to the Deed of Understanding with New Zealand Post, which will come into effect from the 1st of July 2015. The Minister says the 3-day delivery service for urban areas is the minimum standard that New Zealand Post must meet, meaning a more frequent service may continue in some areas. The changes only relate to standard letter mail. New Zealand Post says it will provide a 6-day per week premium mail service irrespective of any changes to standard deliveries. We were out in Invercargill this lunchtime to find out what people think of the reduced services.
Well, I don't think it will affect me personally, but I can imagine that it will be a disadvantage for a lot of people not being able to get mail as often as they used to.
Do you rely on the service quite heavily?
Not so much. I tend to do shopping online, although things that I buy I then do have to get from the post office, but normally I would come in, so not personally.
I'm not overly concerned because I only really get mail from like bank statements and a Christmas card from my nana every now and then, so it's not as big a deal for me.
It's one of those things that as everything is moving towards electronic, things are going to have to pull back, but it's going to be tough for some people, businesses and things like that.
And how much do you rely on the service personally?
Personally, to be honest, hardly at all.
How do you feel about the reduction in services in urban areas?
I live in the country, but 3 days a week for mail, I don't think it's a problem at all.
So, and the rural deliveries are going to be keeping up at 5 days a week. So, I mean, is that good? Do you think?
Oh, it's probably advisable we rely on the mail a little bit more, but the internet and email is a bigger part of the business. So, if it was for 3 days a week in a rural community, it wouldn't concern me at all either.
Well, it's a bit sad, because especially in country areas, although we're still going to be all right in the country area, but in town then it's going to be a bit tough for older people, and especially if you haven't got computers and all this sort of thing.
How much do you personally rely on postal service?
Oh, I posted two letters this week, I suppose, so I still use it.
I think it's fair enough to make a move to reduce it if it's not being used as much, and if it's going to be crucial, like some people might need or might rely on it a lot more, it doesn't affect me as much, so I don't mind it being reduced to 3 days.
Do you rely on the service quite heavily personally?
Not heavily. Like Emma said, some shopping's been done online, but that stuff I pick up from the post office at my own discretion, so it's not much of a big deal.
Well, it's not going to make much difference to me because I only get about 2 or 3 letters a week or a fortnight sort of thing. So, what's another day?
The Southland SPCA is urging the region's cat owners to make use of a mobile desexing van that rolls into town next month. SPCA Southland Shelter Manager Mary Bradley says there's been around 114 people registering for the National Service so far, which is available to all those with a community or gold card. She says the importance of desexing is not only for population control, but also helps to prevent pets roaming and getting into fights. With 90 spots still available, she is encouraging cat owners to contact SPCA Southland and book in. The Mobile Desexing Clinic is a national initiative run by SPCA New Zealand and has been travelling around the country throughout the year. It will be in Invercargill from the 4th to the 21st of November. Around 300 people turned up for a health expo put on by Southern Institute of Technology first-year nursing students today. The expo is organised entirely by the students themselves and has been running successfully for 20 years. This year's event features stalls promoting key health issues like healthy eating and water safety, as well as free health checks for the public. Bachelor of Nursing student and Expo committee member Lisa Vandenbelt says the day provided an exciting opportunity for students to showcase the skills they've learnt throughout the year.
Fantastic opportunity for the public to see what we do in nursing, and also for them to get a lot of information. It's all free. Enter the draw to win free hampers, and just have a good day.
And would you say it's been a success so far?
Oh, absolutely. We've had a whole heap of people through, and everyone's loving it, and it's a fantastic day for it.
Tell me what the purpose is behind the Health Expo today.
Well, our paper that we're doing this year is Primary Health and Health Promotion. So our purpose of this is for us to design a stall, a group of about four or five students. We have to research what our topic is, and also learn about finding our resources and all that. And when we've got our stall, it's about promoting health and to the public.
Would you say this is a day for nursing students to sort of practice what they've been learning?
Oh, absolutely. We've got health or on a fitness check set up. So we have 8 stalls going throughout the day where we do checks like blood pressure, blood glucose, and general things like that. So it's a chance for us to pretty much put into practice what we've learned in our first year of nursing.
And what does it have to offer the public?
Well, heaps, as well as the free checks, which obviously are really big for the public. We have, most of our stalls have a whole heap of giveaways as well as awesome information, and sometimes it's really hard just to know where to go to get certain information, so we can help with that.
And what sort of activities do you have on today?
Well, we've got Activity for Life, which is a group down the back there. They have rowing machine, wobble boards that you can have a go at. We've got pre-diabetes, where they have an Xbox set up to do some activity, so whether it be light or heavy physical activity. We have Bowel Health, where they can show you how to actually sit properly on the toilet, which is quite interesting, as well as lots of different wee games.
That's all from us tonight. The sports team's up next. Good night.